Hey guys, time for my NXT review. This is a very unique, weird, interesting episode of NXT. And that's putting it mildly. As this is the Road to WrestleMania episode. Let me remind you the date of this episode. March 27th, 2013. A week and a half before WrestleMania. Remember that. So, opening match, Natalya against Kaitlyn. Surprisingly, this is the best match on the show. It really is a good Divas title match, back and forth. You felt like at a couple points, Natalya's going to win. She's going to win the title, but Kaitlyn gets out of the sharpshooter. And I really loved the ending because after the sharpshooter, Kaitlyn goes over to the ropes, and Natalya sees her. She's running, and here comes Kaitlyn. She hits the spear perfectly to get the 3 count, remains champion. After the match, both women shake hands and raise hands in celebration. So, now we go to our first of our 2 special interviews on the road to WrestleMania. Well, Tony Dawson is with Alberto Del Rio from a WWE studio. Not at the arena. No. Talks about his match with Jack Swagger, how he is Mexican, but was American made. Next match, and I have to bring this up, Tom Phillips is on commentary. But to help this, besides William Regal, Jim Ross is on commentary. So this helps. Next match is El Local, that's right, the guy that Tom Phillips did not know what El Local means, against Brodus Clay. This is an interesting match, just for a couple of reasons, one of which is early on, Brodus does a flip pin. I couldn't believe it. He got a 1 count, but he did a flip pin. But El Local does get some offense in, but Brodus Clay is too big, hits the big splash, gets the win. Now, our featured match, which I'll get to in a little bit, is Randy Orton against Damian Sandow. But before we could go to that, we have another special interview. Tony Dawson with John Cena. John Cena talks about how last year he failed, lost to The Rock, how was he going to happen again, blah, 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 blah. Your time is up, my time is now. So after the interview, while Tom Phillips, and it seems like it's about to be a conversation with William Regal and JR about this match, here comes Cassius Ohno attacking William Regal from behind, beating him down. And, excuse me, this was the only segment of NXT where an NXT wrestler was on. Interesting, huh? So we come back from commercial, and we are told that next week, let me pause that, that next week on NXT, Big E Langston will defend the NXT Championship against Conor O'Brien. He won the triple threat match a couple of weeks ago. So, it is just Jim Ross and Tom Phillips that will do the featured match. Damian Sandow against Randy Orton. Orton's first ever appearance in the NXT arena. And this is just a squash match. It's just all Randy Orton. Sandow does get a couple of moves in, but for the most part, this is all Randy Orton wins with the RKO, gets a 3-count victory. That's your episode of NXT. Now, this was a weird episode. All your matches did not feature any NXT wrestlers. Your interviews were taped. The only segment you had with an NXT wrestler was from commentary. And I hate to do the whole, if I'm booking this show, but if I was booking it, there'd be 2 things I'd make sure. Number 1, that the Road to WrestleMania show, because the way they were talking sounded like this was going to air the Wednesday before WrestleMania instead of the week and a half before WrestleMania. I would make sure if they did this next year to do it on the Wednesday before WrestleMania, not the week and a half before. The second thing, to make it interesting, since you only did 3 matches, which for this episode I can't really complain because they're getting on the road to WrestleMania, have 3 matches between WWE and NXT. Do a best of 3. Let's see who wins. Who's got the better group of wrestlers? Does NXT or does WWE? That's how I would have done this episode. But like I said, I don't like to do the if I was booking, this is what I would do type of thing. That's other people's stuff to do. But no, this was okay. The Caitlyn Natalia match was the best match on the show. And William Regal and Cassius Ohno again. Golly, this is just great. But no, really, them putting what I would have felt watching it was the NXT before WrestleMania episode a week before just really made no sense.